Hello, welcome back to Miracle Mom and Michael.
It's
Mom,
Miracle Mom and Michael.
Mom just laid about the heaviest story on me that I've ever heard. Uh, for those of you who haven't listened to Mom telling all of her story, she was just relating her experiences with the man that came after my dad, the man who came into her life after my dad. We're not going to mention his name. It was mentioned in the previous segment. That's more than enough. Turns out he was some high level heroin dealer or distributor or something, to the to the extent where 12 police cars showed up within 2 minutes of her making a phone call about the guy or about an event related to the guy. 12 police cars. So I remember this guy. Nothing positive. I have three three.
You're, break,
Am I breaking
you're
up?
breaking up a little.
Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit.
I have three short or three specific incidents or stories I want to talk about or relay. So one was I remember him cutting my hair.
Yeah.
It's like, he needs a haircut. I'll do it. And the guy, I remember him cutting my ear. Like,
I remember you telling me that.
like he was giving me a haircut and he clipped the top of my ear as he was, I guess, trimming the hair over my
You're
ear.
breaking up
Well, stop it. Stop breaking up. I don't know. I don't know where I can put this phone where it won't break up. But at least we can hear you. The camera can hear me. I'm sorry that you can't. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? Can you
It's
hear me now?
okay. Yeah.
All right. So that was one thing. I just remember pain and blood. Uh, Another thing that he would do, and this was on occasion. Now I may call Michelle and have her and do a call with her and get her stories, and I'm if I do, I'm going to ask her about this period. But one thing that he would do, that table that was in the living room, it was like a spool, like a giant cable spool, like what you would like.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that
Yeah.
table that you laid on its side? If you have a
Right.
spool, you unspool it, take everything off. If it's huge cable, it's this big round wooden
Right.
spool that we used as a coffee table. He would
Yeah.
have he would have me put my hands on the table and then extend my legs out, kind of like doing a push up but at an angle. And and
Yeah.
and he'd say and he'd make me hold that position, kind of like people do today, like for exercise. Like people do certain things
Yeah.
that cause them pain and stress to work out their abdominal muscles or whatever muscles. But he would have me do that, and he'd bark at me and tell me, no, hold it, stay. And I would, and sometimes I would have my pajamas on that had footies in them. The with the feet, the pajamas with the feet, and then there's that slick part on the bottom of the feet,
Oh, yeah.
and my feet would be sliding on the carpet, and it would be impossible for me to keep that position, and he would get irate at me for complaining. So that was a very another. All my memories of the guy are negative. Getting my ear cut, getting forced to do that, like exercise. I was like 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah. For.
Um, the other memory I have from that period, I don't know if he was still around or not, but this might have. I'm speculating this was maybe after he was gone, in that interim before we moved out of the house. I have vivid memories that were recurring nightmares. I These two recurring nightmares, they would happen every night for I don't know how long. There were two of them, and I don't know if they would both happen every night or it would be alternating nights, but they were pretty much the same nightmare. And I don't even know if it was a nightmare. I think I might have even been awake. a little kid wandering through a dark house. But so the nightmare is I'm wandering through the house and I come to this one room and I think it's a bedroom and I look and it's dark and on the bed is a pile of skeletons,
Lord.
like dark, but a pile of dead bodies, basically just it's but skeletons. And the other nightmare is exactly the same, except not skeletons, but like monsters, like Frankenstein monsters. A pile of hideous, frightening monsters just piled there. And it was a recurring, I recall it happening over and over again. And
It makes me think about, what, when he took you over to this so-called friend's house.
And I have no memory of that.
Yeah, where was that? What happened over there? Anyway, go ahead.
So, I mean, we on this channel, Miracle Mom and Michael, we talk about miracles all the time because they're happening all the time around us all the time. And we talk about near death experiences, mom almost dying, clinically dying for 90 seconds in one case, and then the event that happened December 9th, like it's a 100% fatal sequence of events, right? Heart failure and a pulmonary emboli. Like people don't survive those, but you did because of miraculous circumstances. And then here we are recounting events in our lives, brushes with death, and this is certainly another brush with death. You know.
Oh, yeah. He had a gun too. He had a gun.
Well, of course, and Michelle and I being out of your care, off with this criminal, who knows where, and by the grace of God, he brought us home. He could have passed out somewhere else, and we could have disappeared and never been heard from again.
Oh yeah, it's happening every day.
Exactly.
It's happening every day to a child.
And
thousands of children.
And it's the issue that is the closest to my heart. I think that if I'm ever in a position where I have an abundance of resources, the one cause that is the first that I will involve myself with or contribute to is human trafficking.
Yeah.
Because those are people it's modern day slavery. It's people taken against their will and disappeared forever from their families, from the lives that they've known, and are slaves, become slaves.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And along the way, in trying to deal with that and knowing, that it's part of my friends along the way have said to me, Bonnie, you've got to stop blaming yourself. And to this day, I still can't forgive myself for putting you and Michelle in harm's way like that. I'll never be able to forgive myself. And someone said to me, well, show me in the Bible where Jesus taught anybody you have to forgive yourself. Where does Jesus teach that? The lesson is God has forgiven you. You've confessed it to him. He has forgiven you. We are not taught to forgive ourselves. This is the pain, though, that we carry with us for the rest of our lives, for our failures. It's not punishment. It's I can't undo it. And I can't unsee it. And it never goes away.
But he will wipe away those tears. And that's right. He will wipe.
Well, he does, and he has, and he's the one who saved us all. See, Jesus didn't go to the cross just to save us from sin and death. Jesus went to the cross to save us from ourselves.
Right.
And that's what that was. He saved us out of that.
I have a final thought for this segment.
Sure.
And it brings back a common theme. When we talk about providence, right? What is providence? Providence is the orchestration of events by our divine Father, right? Our Heavenly Father. He orchestrates. And I don't know, people may argue with me on this point, but I think it's biblically sound. Providence, we tend to use it when uncanny things happen. Well, that's a coincidence, or, things that can't be explained away, etc. It's like, oh, that must be providence. But providence is a perpetual state, right? Everything happening is providential. Everything, either everything is meaningful or nothing is meaningful. That's the point. Theologically, either God is in control and all things are in his power, or God doesn't exist and nothing, it doesn't even mean anything to have anything in his power. And so when we talk about these horrific decisions, these blind decisions made, just like maybe we're lazy and don't want to, oh yeah, it would be nice to be relieved of the kids for a while, go ahead and take them. Or, oh, okay, you think it'll be good for them to go play, like being persuaded by this evil person. Even that was providential, that you would have this story to tell of caution, right? Maybe somebody will see this and they'll be like, I need to make sure I know who I'm hanging out with, know who I'm inviting into my life, know who I'm associating with, and protect those closest to me. Like, by the grace of God, we're here, and I think we're doing fine, right?
Yeah.
So, that's a long, babbling final thought, but let's wrap this up. We're going to come back. We're going to come back and talk some more, and the mood will lighten, everybody. Okay, we're going to, even though Mom is still talking about her, what is it, the night season?
Yeah.
That was about a low point. There's some more low points, but we're gonna move on. So, wrapping this up, say bye, Mom.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
And if you want people to hear about piles of skeletons and piles of monsters in nightmares of little children, then pass this segment along. Click, like, and subscribe, etc. All right, bye, everybody.